Welcome again for the lecture of digital communication subject. Today we'll be learning something called as a random variables, their cumulative distribution function and probability density function. So let's get started with definition of random variable. A random variable is a variable which assumes numerical values associated with the random outcomes of an experiment, where one and only one numerical value is assigned to each sample point. Suppose we want to select a person from a group of people and we want to categorize them in minor, adult and older people. So instead of saying I selected minor, I can say x is equal to 0. Instead of saying I have selected adult, I can say x is equal to 1. So x is a random variable here for selecting a person whose value can be 0, 1 or 2. That tells us that 0 means minor is selected, 1 means adult is selected and 2 means older person is selected. Instead of saying it in a statement, we assigned a numeric value, and while assigning that, we have taken care that each number has been assigned only once and there should not be any repetition. Random variables are of two different types. First is a discrete random variable, where the variable that is being used can take on a countable number of values. For example, number of steps to the Eiffel Tower. We can count this number of steps. So this is a discrete random variable. As opposed to this, a continuous random variable can assume any value along a given interval of number line. For example, if I ask what is population on 24th July 2020, that number might not be a fixed number because population changes by every second. So we cannot count on all such instances where population has been changed. So what we generally talk about is population on this day is in between this number to this number. So we talk about a range or an interval. This kind of random variable is called as a continuous random variable. For example, the time a tourist stays at the top once he gets there. So we can count number of steps to the Eiffel Tower, but how much time tourist stays there on a top, we cannot directly talk about. So we can give intervals or ranges that he might wait for 3 to 5 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, this way. Few more examples for a discrete random variable are number of cells, number of calls, shares of a stock, people in a queue, number of boys among 4 children. In 4 children, I can have either no boys or all 4 boys, or I can have 1 boy, 2 boy or 3 boy. So there are these number of possibilities, 0 boy to 4 boy possibilities. So these are all possible outcomes which are numbered. So we can call this as a random variable which takes these values. Number of correct answers. And in continuous random variable, we have length, weight, height of human beings. See, if human being has height ranging from 0 inches to 100 inches, we cannot specify each and every numerals in between 0 and 100 inches. It's possible that it is in between 0 to 1 inch, in between 1 to 2 inch, and in between that, and in between that. It's possible. Then volume, then time. Here also, if I ask about specific time, you cannot guarantee because time has milliseconds, microseconds, nanoseconds. So we cannot count all of these instances, and hence this is a continuous random variable. Population, as I said, is a continuous random variable. Cumulative distribution function, that is CDF of a random variable x, is a probability that the random variable x, here I am using capital X, the random variable x takes a value less than or equal to small x. This small x is a dummy variable which is a specific value from all the list of values for this capital X. So definition can be written analytically like this. capital Fx of x, where x is a random variable and small x is a specific number from a list of this random variable, is equal to probability that x is less than equal to x. The CDF is also called as probability distribution function of a random variable. The CDF of a discrete random variable can be explained with the help of this example. Consider I have an example of rolling a dice. When I roll a dice, outcome on a top face can be either 1, it can be 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. I have considered a random variable x which can takes on these numbers as an outcome of an experiment. Now, as tossing a dice has equiprobable outcomes, we can have probability for outcome 1 is equal to 1 by 6, probability for outcome 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each will have a probability equal to 1 by 6 because all of these outcomes are equally likely. Now, if I try to find probability that x, random variable x, is less than equal to 1, then it is equal to 1 by 6 because there is no outcome which is less than 1, but there is an outcome which is equal to 1. So total probability of this event is 1 by 6. Probability of x less than equal to 2 is actually probability that x is equal to 1 and probability that x is equal to 2. So this is to be added because it is a discrete random variable. So we have probability that x is equal to 2 and all the probabilities of x less than 2. That is only one event, so we have to add only these two probabilities. 1 by 6 plus 1 by 6, that is equal to 2 by 6. Next time I will find probability of x less than equal to 3, which will be addition of all the probabilities up to 3, which will give me 3 by 6. Then probability that x is less than equal to 4, which is probability that x is any number up to 4, which is a probability at 4 by 6. Similarly, probability of x less than equal to 5 is 5 by 6 and probability that x less than equal to 6 is 6 by 6, that is equal to 1. If I plot all these probabilities with respect to random variable x on a horizontal axis, that becomes my CDF function capital Fx of x. So what I will do is I will mark all the x values on a horizontal axis and their corresponding probabilities of those probability x less than equal to 1, probability that x less than equal to this 2, probability that x less than equal to 3, all those values I will keep on plotting like this. So first number was 1 by 6, in a previous slide you can check. Second was 2 by 6, probability that x less than equal to 3 is 3 by 6, then 4 by 6, 5 by 6 and at the end 6 by 6, that is 1. So we see here that this is a CDF function which reaches to the maximum value of 1. In general, the CDF of a discrete random variable is represented like this, where all the random variable values are plotted on a horizontal axis and corresponding event probabilities cumulatively plotted on a vertical axis. By cumulative, I mean that the previous probability is added with next probability, is added with next probability, is added with next probability and so on. And we know that summation of all such probability values is always equal to 1. That's why a CDF function has a maximum limit where it reaches to 1. We saw that in a previous example. So by default, we can talk about few properties of CDF function. As probability always can be in between 0 and 1, Fx of x will be always in between 0 and 1. As Fx of x is probability that x less than equal to small x, here value of small x, that is actual value, is minus infinity. So here this is actually probability that x is less than equal to minus infinity. Can something be less than minus infinity? Chances are 0. That's why this probability is 0. And fx of plus infinity means probability that x is less than equal to plus infinity. Can something be less than plus infinity? Always. Everything is less than plus infinity. So this probability is 1. As we saw, with increase in a random variable x, corresponding probabilities are cumulatively added. So fx of x1 is always less than equal to fx of x2 when x1 is less than equal to x2. This is obvious. So we saw that CDF is a monotonically increasing function of x. By monotonically increasing, I mean that once it starts increasing, either it will increase or it will remain constant but never come down. Slope will be either positive or 0 but never becomes negative. After learning cumulative distribution function, we'll switch our attention to probability density function, which is abbreviated as PDF. The derivative of cumulative distribution function with respect to some dummy variable is called as a probability density function. Analytically, it can be written as small fx of x is equal to d dx of capital Fx of x, where this capital Fx of x is a CDF whose differentiation will be PDF. This PDF is more convenient representation for a continuous random variable. We'll see later why it is more convenient for continuous functions. I'll consider a previous example where I computed a CDF for experiment of tossing a single dice, where random variable x took values from 1 to 6 and corresponding probabilities were 1 by 6 each, which were cumulatively plotted to form a CDF function, and we got maximum equal to 1. So with respect to this, if I want to find a PDF, I will have to differentiate this graph by using an equation d dx of fx of x. So differentiation means rate of change of fx of x with respect to x. So rate of change is observed here, here, here and here. And what is that rate of change? Change in vertical probabilities with respect to change in x. So we see that at these points probabilities increase by 1 by 6 suddenly at that particular instant. Hence the differentiation will be 1 by 6 at each random variable value. So at x is equal to 1, differentiation is 1 by 6. At x is equal to 2, rate of change is again 1 by 6, again 1 by 6 and so on. So for all values of a random variable, we have a fixed PDF that is 1 by 6. It is actually a probability mass function that is generally observed, where values of x and corresponding probabilities are given in a tabular form, which are plotted here. So PDF is generally a probability mass function when it is used for a discrete random variable. Properties of PDF says that fx of x is always greater than equal to 0, and this is obvious because fx of x is nothing but a probability, and probability is always non-negative, hence it is greater than equal to 0. Summation of all the probabilities is always equal to 1, and hence this is also obvious. The relation fx of x is equal to minus infinity to x, fx of x dx is also obvious because fx of x itself is probability that x less than equal to x, means you have to find sum of all the probabilities which are lesser than x. So minus infinity to x, all the probabilities are to be summed. And probability in between x1 and x2 is integration of that probability mass function between x1 and x2. In a continuous random variable, generally finding probability at a single event is meaningless. As I said with the example, the population at particular time instant is meaningless because population is always changing every second, every millisecond and every nanosecond. So in fact, the calculated probability for the single event will be 0. Instead, only intervals have a significance in a continuous random variable. The mean of a random variable is computed with similar procedure that is used for computing mean of any other probability, where expectation or mean is equal to x into probability of x, where we compute a weighted average of possible values of x. And for continuous random variable, the summation is replaced by integration, and px, the probability mass function, is replaced by pdf, fx of x. Similarly, the variances for random variables in a discrete and continuous domain are computed like this, where variance of x, that is sigma square, is expectation of x minus mu square, x minus mu the whole square into probability of x. Similar formula is used for continuous random variables. As I said, the summation will be replaced by integration, and probability mass function is replaced by probability density function fx of x. The standard deviation of a random variable is computed by taking a square root of variance that we have already solved. Now we'll discuss a very important example that has been asked in a university question papers many a times for this digital communication subject. Suppose a 3-digit message is transmitted over a noisy channel having a probability of error p is equal to 2 by 5 per digit. We have to determine the probability of occurrence of errorless message, the probability of message having error in any 2 digits, with the probability of message having error in all digits, and we have to plot all the possible probabilities of occurrences of errors. Again, I'll digest the statement. The 3-digit message is being transmitted where a single digit can go in error with probability 2 by 5. And after receiving all 3 digits, we have to check whether the message is errorless or errored. So let us consider C and E denote the correct and error digits respectively in that 3-digit message. The probability of correct digit is equal to 1 minus probability of wrong digit, because a single digit can be either correct or wrong. So probability of correctness is equal to 1 minus probability of error, that gives us 1 minus 2 by 5, this is a given probability, is equal to 3 by 5. So this is probability of correctness. Now total combinations of receiving that message will have all 3 digits correct, or first and second digit correct with third digit error, or first correct digit, last correct digit but middle digit in error, and so on. So we write all possible combinations of receiving that 3-digit message. That becomes our sample space, and we'll consider a random variable x which denotes the number of errors in a message. So let x can have no error, or it can have 1-digit error, or 2-digit error, or 3-digit error. As message itself has only 3 digits, the number of errors cannot go beyond that. Now we'll compute the probability of receiving a message with no error, that is 0 error. How can I do that? I can do that by calculating probability that the received message has no error into number of such instances where I have received message with no error. Probability of receiving message with no error means probability that first digit is correct, probability that second digit is correct, and probability that third digit is correct. And when I say and, I will have to multiply all probabilities. And along with that, I will have to also see how many times do I have all correct digits in a sample space. So in a sample space, I have only one such possible entry where I have all 3 correct digits. So 3 by 5 into 3 by 5 into 3 by 5 into 1, that gives us 27 upon 125. This is a probability that the received message will have no error. Next we'll compute the probability that message will have one digit error, and that will be same as above calculation, where we'll compute a probability that the received message has only one digit error and number of such instances where one digit error is occurred. So we see that the probability of receiving one digit error means either this or this or this. Only 3 instances where I have one digit error. Okay, so 3 instances I have one digit error. And what is probability of receiving one digit error? First and second digit correct and third digit in error. This can be also written as first and last digit is correct and middle digit in error. So any of these can work because it is simply multiplication of probabilities. It doesn't matter in what sequence you multiply. So I will find that probability as 3 by 5 correct probability, 3 by 5 correct digit probability, 2 by 5 error digit probability, and number of instances that happens is 3 times, as I said, first, second and third time. Total probability of receiving message with one digit error is 54 by 125. If I go ahead with that same logic and find a probability of receiving message with 2 digits error, again I will see that there are 3 instances where I have letter E in them 2 times. So that probability comes out to be 36 upon 125, and probability of error with x is equal to 3, that is all 3 digits error. The complete message is incorrect where I have only one instance, and probability is equal to 8 upon 125. Now if I cumulatively write all these probabilities like this, fx of x is equal to 0, that is probability that received message will have 0 or less error, is equal to 27 upon 125. Probability that received message has either 1 or less error is probability that it will have 0 error or probability that it will have 1 error. So when I have OR, I will add these probabilities and I get 81 upon 125. What basically I am doing is I am computing a CDF function for this random variable x. Fx of x is equal to 2 will be summation of first 3 probabilities. Fx of x is equal to 4 will be summation of all 4 probabilities, and the result tells me that the sum of all the probabilities reaches 1. Hence the CDF is monotonically increasing function whose maximum value is equal to 1 has been proved. If we plot it, the graph of a CDF function will look like this. From this graph we can conclude many things, such as receiving message with all 3 digits error has very less probability, and the probability that received message will have only 1 digit error, the chances are more because this height is larger. That's it for today. Thank you.